What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. Today, we're going to be going over the Khora Helminth Invigoration that you need. Or rather, you should try out if you ever do access to it. It is going to be increased crit chance for melee weapons, and that includes Whipclaw, we actually found out today. Before we get into it, make sure you sub to the YouTube channel and all that. Make sure you check out the live stream channel as well to see when we do live streams. And yeah, just stay up to date on all the channel stuff. Alright, so Helminth Invigoration, you get access to these by getting to rank 5 on Deimos, the Necrolisk, and you have to go to the Sun NPC and buy a special component for it for your Helminth chair. You get random bonuses every week, and this week we got 200% increased melee crit chance and 200% increased energy maximum for Khora. So I'm able to put that on her for an entire week. And I did not realize this was a thing, but that increased melee crit chance does apply to her Whipclaw, which is going to be her special first ability. If you want increased damage, look no further than Helminth Invigorations, I guess. So you whip the ground. This takes your melee mods into account. So the way you can make this thing red crit, orange crit, etc., is you want to get a weapon. The weapon doesn't really matter. Get any weapon. Like you could do the Archititron, you could do the Amethyst, like I've got here. Khora Prime, Jaw Sword, blah, blah, blah. You want to get a weapon like this. You want to put on mods that are going to basically work on Whipclaw. There's lots of mods in the game that don't work on Whipclaw. You just need to know which ones work. So all the mods equipped right here do work on Whipclaw. We got Blood Rush, Weeping Wounds, Pressure Point, crit damage mods like Glider Might and Sacrificial Steel. That's a crit chance mod. And we've also got a Riven for our stat stick. There's a reason that we want to get Rivens for this is because Rivens are the most powerful mods in the game most of the time. And you want a weapon with really high Riven stats. So we've got Riven Dispo of 5 dots. Amethyst is one of the best ones to get a Riven for if you want to do Khora. So the increased melee damage and the increased crit damage does apply to our Whipclaw first ability. And let's just show how it goes. So I'll just show you before the Invigoration. So before the Invigoration, we're getting a couple red crits, mostly orange crits though. And after the Invigoration, it'll be mostly red with some orange. So yeah, and I mean, this is before the Invigoration you're looking at right here. Still does a 95,000 slash proc through the enemy's armor. So what we're going to do, we're going to build up our melee combo counter. So this is how you can easily get these crazy damage numbers. Basically rope a bunch of enemies together with Khora, hit them a couple times with your melee, and now this combo increase will be influenced on your actual Whipclaw. So now that we've got it all stacked up, let's whip them. Should be all red. Basically all red. So there you go. Yeah, there's one orange crit right there, 100,000. So yeah, this does work on the Whipclaw. We did test it, and it seems to work. I thought it was only going to work on normal melees, but apparently not. So let's go over some stuff you can use on Khora. We're going to show a build and just go over a bunch of stuff. So since we're using the melee combo counter to make our first ability deal more damage, you want to run things like Naramon Focus School. This will let you keep your combo multiplier very easily. Let's also get some gameplay on the screen too of the Steel Path against some Acolytes. So Naramon Focus School has an ability called Power Spike. And what that does is instead of your melee combo counter going away immediately, it will dissipate by 5 hits every couple of seconds. If you're using the new Dexterity Arcanes for both secondary and primaries, you can actually do get lots of combo increase. So let's just show what I mean right there. So here we are in the Simulacrum again. So we go to our Kuva Nukor, I've equipped secondary Dexterity. What this does, it gives you 7.5 increased combo duration. This does work with your Whipclaw and with Naramon Focus School. Same thing on the primary. We're gonna be fully DPSing with our first ability, so we can run Dexterity on both for 15 seconds increased combo duration, giving us about 20 seconds of combo duration per stack. The build right here is nothing too crazy. Now, since we do have increased energy maximum by 200%, we could take off Spectro Siphon for a different ability. As you can see in the gameplay footage, we're completely full energy. It's basically like the Man in the Wall raid on Ophelia all over again. But Khora's line of sight is a little bit worse than before, to be honest. So yeah, basically you don't need any power strength in Khora. She deals so much damage. The big like 100,000 slash procs you're seeing, this is all with negative power strength. The key to getting crazy damage is actually the accumulating Whipclaw augment. Every 3 enemies hit gives you 35% increased damage to your Whipclaw and decays every 10 seconds. That is not affected by power strength, so you can go to negative and you'll still get that 35% increase per enemy's hit. So we can go negative strength and have really high range. Now keep in mind, the range of her first ability caps at 200% range. Everything that's in range beyond that is mostly for her fourth ability, Strangledom, which will grab enemies and CC them through the wall. You also have the Pilfering Strangledom Augment mod, Enemies in your held in your fourth ability have an increased loot drop chance. Pretty nice. Is also not affected by power strength, so you never really need to mod for power strength on Khora. Like, there's some situations you might go for it, but overall, yeah, you're good. And as far as arcanes, Arcane Fury is going to give increased melee damage for 18 seconds when you get a critical hit. And look at all the crits we're doing. We're basically endlessly getting increased melee damage with the what's this one called again? Arcane Fury. I always get Arcane Fury and Arcane Rage mixed up together. And of course, Arcane Energize, if you're running this much, if you're running Spectral Siphon, the subsume ability from Gara, where we replace our third ability, and enemies that die inside the Spectral Rage drop energy orbs, you could probably take this off. But, you know, there's situations where you want to just be spamming constantly. So, yeah, you could probably change the build up a lot, but this is going to be a build you could use on Khora Prime when she comes out in probably March. This is, you know, old faithful. We don't need no Prime sure-footed because, yeah, the Whipclaw is not going to stun us. Yeah, so as far as other things you could do and other invigorations that could be good for Khora, I bet since the melee crit chance one works on her Whipclaw, I'm thinking that the melee damage one could be pretty good too. Potentially give you more overall damage, as Condition Overload does not work on her Whipclaw. I'm actually going to link my my previous stat stick video from like 2 years ago in the description. You guys can check that out. It's pretty much up to date, I'd say. But since Condition Overload doesn't work, the amounts of increased melee damage sources you can go for are pretty limited. That's why things like increased melee damage are very good on Whipclaw. Basically just because Condition Overload is pretty much a crutch for a lot of weapons. So that's when you see the build right here. It's like, well, why are you running Pressure Point, not Condition Overload? Because Condition Overload doesn't work. This is a slash proc build. Of course, you could go for a corrosive build. If you are going for a corrosive build, you're going to probably take off Karnus Mandible, put Fever Strike there, and then take off Glider Might, maybe put like Shocking Touch there for corrosive damage. Corrosive damage will kill enemies faster technically, but the slash procs will scale better. You know, it eventually gets to a point where it doesn't really matter. I mean, as you can see, the Acolyte I'm just like, yo, hold this Whipclaw for me, bro. And he just gets slashed out. So, yeah, this is just, you know, this is Khora stuff. Now, she did get nerfed. Don't get it twisted. Compared to like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, this whipping through the wall is much, much worse than before. But as you can see, if you find the right angles, you still technically can do it. And like, I didn't die at all. And like, I think I was here 20 minutes for the gameplay footage. We dealt with 3 Acolytes. Ensnare, the second ability from Khora, can stun Acolytes, can pull enemies in. It's quite easy. I could probably be in this mission nearly all day. Because of the slash proc scaling. That's like 169,000 slash proc on that Grenadier. Nice. Like, they're not going to be able to survive that for a long time. So, and I'm not even going for max damage, honestly. Like I said, we could get, like, buffs up in here. I could throw down a Nidus Spectre. I could throw down something that buffs my damage. And I wasn't even running, like... I could have technically done a lot of stuff here, to be honest. Also, the Gladiator set bonus does apply to Khora's Whipclaw as well, so you might want to give that a shot, too. Okay, so I know this is an invigoration video. Some people don't like invigoration videos, but like I said, this build can be totally utilized without Helminth invigoration at all. And I want to show you guys that the crit chance one does work on Khora's Whipclaw. That's basically the purpose of today's video. Also, a mini refresher on, you know, Khora build. I haven't really changed it too much, and I do think she will still be potentially a very good frame going into 2022, as long as we don't get any, you know, stat stick nerfs or anything like that, which, you know, I definitely could see happening. So just a reminder, the general gist of this build, high range on Khora. Also want to make sure your energy efficiency is good. So we have Spectro Siphon on here. Kubazar, this could be any primary. You could maybe go for the Miter for popping Nullifier Bubbles. The big thing here is primary dexterity, making it so we never run out of combo. Same situation with the secondary. Just primary dexterity. It doesn't matter what you're running. You just want increased combo duration. We've got a slash proc stat stick right here, where it's running Karnus Mandible for increased slash chance. If you don't have Karnus Mandible, you don't like Karnus Mandible, you can technically go for Buzzkill, which some people say they like more, but me personally, I like Karnus Mandible over Buzzkill. It's very similar. It's increased melee damage, no Condition Overload. Naramon Focus School to make it so you don't run off combo anytime soon. And then here's a Venari build just in case you want to see it. This is the one I usually go for. We've got Venom Teeth and Shock Collar, making corrosive damage for Venari. You could technically take both of these off, and Venari will be purely slash. You could also technically take off Shock Collar for Frostjaw, that's what it's called, and it will be a viral slash Venari. Pretty good, actually. Venari can kill some very high-level enemies. You've got maxed out Maul, maxed out Bite. This is some crazy damage on the cat. Like, it can kill some stuff for sure. Sharpened Claws for increased damage and a armor rending attack. Prime Animal Instinct, crazy, crazy enemy radar, and the other couple of slots are whatever, to be honest. Many pet kit, I guess, for health regen. Alright guys, hopefully you found the video helpful and fun. You know, it's an invigoration video, so not everyone can replicate it, but I just want to show you guys what is possible here. More consistent red crits, and more damage. So, I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, and peace.